Hello, my name is Tim Erickson. I'm St. Paul Tim on the internet, and I'm here with another Simplo by Triplo instructional video, this time to talk about backdrop CMS image styles. Before we go any further, I want to give a quick plug to my company Simplo and the two primary services I want to direct you to there. One, which is backdrop CMS specific hosting, really designed for beginners that are looking for help. What we've set up here is a one-click install a templated version of a backdrop site, and with some specific preset conditions. We also offer some training and resources. Let's move on to talking more about image styles. Basically, image styles allow you to upload a single image and display it in different ways. So each variation or style can have multiple effects. Things like cropping, resizing, watermarks, desaturation. I'll show you a few examples of those in a few minutes. Why use image styles? The biggest reason is probably performance. If you upload a very large image and then use that image or render that large image but scale it down with CSS for a thumbnail, this is really hurting your performance, your load time on your web page, especially when you get down to mobile devices. If you have an image intensive page, image styles allow you to use different versions of an image in different situations and maximize performance. It's also important for consistency. If you're getting user-generated content or you have multiple editors on the site and they're all uploading images, they might be uploading different original images. You can use an image style to make the images consistently, to crop them to certain proportions or dimensions, or put borders on them. There's a whole bunch of things you can do with image styles. Also, an improved editor experience. It just simplifies the life of your site editors if they don't have to worry about getting the proportions just right when they upload the image, or worry about not uploading too large of an image, or worry about even uploading the right format. You can use image styles to convert JPEGs to WebP images, for example. The way image styles work is that when Backdrop is about to render an image on a page, if you're using a style, Backdrop checks to see which image style should apply. It looks to see if you previously generated a copy of that image with the style applied and displays it. If there is no copy already existing of the image with that style applied, then Backdrop creates one. It actually stores these copies in the files directory for future use. So you can, if you look into your files directory, and we'll do that in a minute, Backdrop will often have multiple copies of the same image, cropped to different sizes or with different styles applied, depending on the image styles you've created. If you delete these image style, the actual file images that it creates, Backdrop will just recreate them the next time it needs them, as long as you don't delete the original. So to demonstrate a little bit more about image styles, I've created a pretty much a raw Backdrop site with a couple of changes. I did use the sample animal content module, which I've talked about in a number of my videos. All it does is create this content type of animals and gives us some content to start working with. I did also create a demo page here that we'll look at in a few minutes. I want to start out though by going under the configuration menu. If you're logged in as an admin, under configuration in media, you're going to find image styles. And these are the 4 image styles that come with Backdrop out of the box. Card, specific dimensions there. The large, 800 by 600, medium, 300 by 250, and thumbnail, 100 by 100. And again, I want to reiterate that what Backdrop does is it takes your original image and it creates a thumbnail version. If you're using the thumbnail image style, it creates a thumbnail version of that and stores it that it can quickly access and use anytime. Okay, I want to show you how you use image styles practically in your content type. So we're going to go, the post content type is a good one to start with, because it comes with an image field attached. And this is one of the reasons why it's better to use an image field as opposed to putting images in the body of your content. If we configure this image field, we're going to notice, one, that there's a preview image style. And basically this is saying that when you're previewing images for this content type, which image style do you want to use? The thumbnail, the medium, the large. By default, it starts with the thumbnail. That's the only really way you use image styles when you're creating the field. However, where image styles really become relevant is if we go back up to the top and we go to the post content type and we go to manage displays. We've got two different display modes for the post content type, the default and the teaser. There are some other ones that aren't being used here, but let's just look at these two. The default is the actual page for the post. If we click on that, we're going to see that by default we're using the large image style. This is under configuration. I can change that to any one of the others, or we could just say show the original image at whatever size it was uploaded. If we go back to the displays, though, there's also the teaser. We click on Manage Display, and we'll see for teasers, we're actually using the medium image style. Let me show you this in practice, which is if we go to the front page, this is one of the teasers. We have the crocodile here. I'm going to go ahead and open this image in a new tab, and we're going to see that the image that's being loaded and rendered is the same image that's displaying on the page. It's not displaying a larger image and condensing it, it's displaying that. If we actually click on the page, we go here, we see a larger version, right? This is using the large image style. If I open this image in a new tab, we get the large version. Here's an example. Another place that we use image styles is in views. When you create a field view of an image, you can pick which image style to use. And so we've got the original, the thumbnail, the medium, and the card. All showing up here. And again, if I take any one of these and I open the image in a new tab, you're going to see that it's not just scaling the image. It's loading different versions of the image depending on which image style we're displaying. If I come up here and go to the contextual menu, and configure the view, you're going to see that what I did was I have 4 different image fields, and each one, the first one shows the original. The second one is showing the thumbnail, and so on. Okay, let's create our own image style. So I'm back on the image styles page. I'm going to click Add Image Style, and I'm going to put large square. This is kind of a simple option. Basically, select an effect. These are the effects that are available to me by default with Backdrop CMS. We're going to add some more effects in a minute, but for now, we basically want to scale and crop the image, which means we want to change its size and then crop, in this case, crop it to be square. I'm going to say 400 by 400 pixels. So I click Scale and Crop, and then I say 400 by 400. And this is basically, if it has to crop the image, should it start from the center and crop top, bottom, left, right, whichever is necessary. If I uploaded a 600 by 500 image, it's going to need to crop a little bit more from the width than it is from the height. If I do a square image, cropping won't be an issue. It'll just resize it. But any image that's not perfectly square is going to get cropped. And I'm going to always start with the center. That seems like a good default unless I have a specific reason to do something else. I'm going to hit Add the Effect and update the style. Now to actually see this in effect, we can go back to our view. We can go back to our view and just add another image field using this new style that we just created. Here we go. We're going to go large square. If I go ahead and save this and view the page, now as we scroll down, there we go. We have a large square version of the crocodile. You'll see that it pretty much has the full height. So it scaled the image down until either the height or the width got to 400, and then it crops off the extra. So in this case, it got to the height, and then it had extra width, so it cropped from left to right. Now in this case, it might have been better to have not cropped from the center, but to have cropped off the left side rather than the right, so we didn't lose the nose. But how did we predict that for all of our images? That might not always work. Here it worked. This cropping worked very nice for the eagle. And for most of the other images, it seems this one kind of the opposite problem. If I were manually cropping that, I would shift it a little bit. But anyways, you can see there that that's how we use image styles and views and how we create our own image style. I want to show you some of the other effects you can get. There is another module called Image Effects, and I've already installed the module, but I haven't enabled it. And I'm just going to go ahead and enable all of the image effects. You can learn more about these later. Okay, now we're going to go create a new image style. let's call this one, well, we're going to do a watermark. I'm going to show you how you can actually watermark your images. Okay, so the first thing we're going to notice that there's a whole bunch of new effects here. We'll look at a few of those later. Let's just start with the watermark one though right now. So the overlay is the watermark effect. So I'm going to go ahead and hit overlay. The X offset and the Y offset is going to be, where you want the image from top to bottom or left to right. We're going to try center on the top. We're going to put our watermark in the bottom of the image. I'm going to leave the opacity. Actually, let's do like 75%. I believe from a previous experiment that's going to work well. We'll leave this the way it is. It's asking us for the path to the file we want to use for our watermark. I haven't necessarily added this yet, so I'm going to try saving this. It's not going to let me. So tell you what, we can do this. Open in a new link. I'm going to open up a new thing, and I'm going to add the watermark file. And here's a PNG file. It has to be transparent if I want it to be a watermark. And I went ahead and uploaded that, and I can open that in a new tab just to get the exact path. Copy image address. What I'm going to do here is post the entire path in here, but instead of putting the hard-coded actual link, is we're going to put public. This is referring to the public files directory. No. Okay, I didn't need the files. I just want public watermark. So now we have a watermark style. I'm going to go ahead and update this. And this time what I'm going to do is go to the animal content type and go into the manage displays and say that on the actual pages we're going to watermark the image. We're going to look for the watermark version instead of the large version. I'm going to save that, and we'll go to the home page. Click on any one of these, and there we go. You'll see the word simplo.sitedemo right over the image. Oh, this will show up much better on this image. There we go, simplo.sitedemo. So I need to play with. I probably should have scaled this a little smaller, maybe positioned it slightly different, closer to the bottom. There's different experimentation you can do that I don't need to do in this image. I'm going to do one more example, which is, let's say that I want to display this image, or all the images, in a consistent square format, but I don't want to crop anything off. Some of the images might be vertical, some might be more horizontal. Okay, what we're going to do now is create an image style where we're going to crop the image. We want it to fit within a 400 and 400 square, but we don't want any white space anywhere, and we don't want to crop anything. What I'm going to do is say square 400 by 400 with background is what we'll call this image. We're going to add the effect. I did a little bit of experimenting. I do not want to resize the images. Resizing the images is it's going to take the existing image and just change the dimensions to 400 by 400, including distorting the images. We don't want to do that. So what we're going to do is do scale. I've tested this out. This works. We do 400 by 400, and what it's going to do is we could just pick one or the other. So we could say, always make it 400 pixels wide and whatever tall. Or what I sometimes run into is I want the same height all the time. So I'll say 400 and leave the width whatever it is. So now it isn't going to crop or change the image at all, but it's going to make sure that every image is the same height or width. In this case, we want sort of either or. Scale the image down until it fits within a 400 by 400. So if we go ahead and do that, add the effect, and we hit, let's just leave it at this, update the style. And now if we go to our animal content type and manage the displays, let's go to the teaser, and let's change this to the new one we did, the 400 by 400 with background. Doesn't have the background yet, but we'll get there in a second. Okay, we're going to notice that these, take it my word for it, these images are all 400 wide, but they're not 400 tall. And then we get to the giraffe, which is a horizontal image. I just modified, swapped out a horizontal image for a vertical one. The vertical image is 400 high, but it's not 400 wide. Well, that isn't what I want. I want consistency. I want every one of these images to take up the same amount of space. So let's go back to the image style, and we're going to edit our square with background. And basically, I did a little bit of testing offline, and I thought we might want underlay background. This would be if we wanted to do an image in the background. But what we want to do is define the canvas, and we're going to do this after we've scaled the image. So we define the canvases, and it lets us do a couple of things. It lets us pick a color. I tried kind of a red color. I actually think let's just go with a dark black color because it's kind of neutral, and it'll fit. And then we want the canvas to always be 400 by 400 because we've already cropped our image to that. We want to place the image, and then it's like, what do we want? Do we want to offset the image to the left or the right? In this case, what we want to do is center it. Center it as much as we can within a 400 by 400, and really that's it. If I add that effect, this should all be taken, and you'll notice that I used the same effect, and now I did this. It scaled the image until it fit within a 400 by 400 square, and then it added a background. So every one of these images takes up exactly 400 by 400, but it has a background instead of just shining through to the white. And here's our vertical image. Okay, we could also have probably added a photo under or a pattern if we wanted in the background. We can do things like add borders. Again, we can change the colors. You just need to experiment with this. But the main thing is that you can create your own image styles and modify them. I want to show you one last thing, which is I want to go to the files directory for this site. I'm in the this is the directory for this test site that we're looking at. And if I go into the files directory, you're going to see a styles directory. And we go into that, and there, again, are all of our image styles, okay? And if we open them up, sample animal images, so example, the eagle is the only one it seems that we needed that it's actually generated so far. If I go back to styles, though, and I do just the thumbnail, I think we should see all the animals there. There we go. We've created thumbnails for all of those. But what else is interesting is I can just delete these styles. The original images are all in here. These are the original images in that directory, which is defined in the content type. I can delete all these styles, and then if I go back to the website, refresh this page, so I'm going to flush the cache. And now if I go back to this directory and I go into the styles, we're going to find that there are image styles for the card. That's because we have these. We had to regenerate the image styles for these cards, but then there's also the image styles for the square. The large, medium thumbnails, we haven't needed any of those, so they're just not here. They will show up as we need them. So it doesn't hurt to delete these. You can, if you're having problems with your image styles not doing what you want, one suggested debug technique is just to go in and delete them all and let them get regenerated. Occasionally, if you edit an existing one, you might have some problems. It shouldn't happen. You know, as you noticed already, we created this square 400 by 400. We did it one way. We didn't like it. We added another effect, and it regenerated the images with the new effect. But if that's not happening, then just delete them. Okay, I think that's really all we have. The last thing I can do is recommend that you check our Simplo.site BYOS for the latest information on build your own site, events, classes, or offers. Thank you very much for your participation. Please like, subscribe, and comment on our videos. That sure helps us out. Thank you.